Hey guys, Brett Weiss here. Welcome to another video. Have a very special guest today. And if you guys think this is cool, we just might do another video. We're talking movies today.
Yeah, my favorite topic.
That is your favorite
topic.
It is
my favorite topic.
So you're just a major horror film fan.
I am. I might seem familiar to some people.
Her name is Cierra Caballero, and she's formerly of PopNerdTV.
Let me take off the shades.
And she's got some really cool videos on PopNerdTV. You can check that out. She's a horror hostess with the mostest. She's pretty awesome.
Pretty coolly.
But last night, I saw a horror movie.
You did.
Which I'm a big horror fan too, as you guys know. But you saw a superhero movie. You saw Black Adam.
I am. I'm very versatile.
So what is it about Black Adam? Is he a villain or what?
You know, jury's out. Because I think he definitely was considered a villain for a long time, much like Venom.
Well, he's Captain Marvel's arch nemesis.
He's gotten his whole backstory. He's kind of an anti-hero. You know, he's a lot more, what's the word?
I think anti-hero is a good word.
Yeah,
so do you root for him during the film? So tell us about, you saw the film last night. Now you saw it 2 weeks in advance of its official release.
Yeah.
So
they threatened us with don't film during the movie or they will kick us out.
Right, but you're free to talk review. Now this is going to be a spoiler-free review.
Yeah, this is spoiler-free.
Yeah, because we don't want to spoil you guys.
Everyone else has already probably spoiled it for you.
Well, luckily, hopefully you guys have avoided spoilers for the film. So let's talk about, I'm going to talk about the movie I saw last night, Hollywood. Yes, it was a Hollywood feature, but
Hollywood Ends.
Hollywood
the
Ends.
Sequel to Sunset Boulevard.
And it should have been called Hollywood. I said that again. It should be called Halloween. Let's put it out of its misery.
Halloween Ends.
Yeah, see, I'm trying to forget that I actually saw it. It was so bad.
I think it's because you saw it and it wasn't good that you are consistently forgetting about it.
It was pretty bad. I can't even remember the name of the lead character, who is someone new to the... Okay, before we talk about Halloween Ends, we're supposed to talk about your movie. Are we talking... No, let's talk... Okay, guys, we'll talk about my movie first, because it was so bad. We'll cover it briefly. Then we'll cover your film a little more in depth, because it was much better, from what I understand.
We'll be very fair about it.
Right. We're going to be... These are objective, and we're going to do these... Okay, so... Halloween Ends is the latest and supposedly final iteration of the Halloween film franchise. I'm sure they will find some way to bring this back.
They will bring, I mean, he always comes back. He's like...
As long as there's a mask or a dot of blood or something, Michael Myers or one of Michael Myers' people, somebody is going to come back in the form of Michael Myers.
If there is a Strode, there is a Michael Myers.
Right, and if there's a way to make money off Michael Myers and Halloween, it's going to happen. So there will be more films, but it's called Halloween Ends.
It's the end of this era of Halloween.
Right.
I mean, we've had different eras.
Yeah, the Rob Zombie.
That's a whole universe.
Yes, it is. But this particular film was really bad. It's one of the lesser in the Halloween films. And what I didn't like about it was... They sort of put Michael Myers in the background throughout most of the movie, at least till the last 10 minutes or so. And they have this other character, this guy who's a love interest for Laurie Strode's granddaughter. He plays her love interest. Now, he's kind of a sympathetic character at first. You haven't seen the film yet, even though you're just like this horror fiend.
We're both reviewing something that we have not seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I'm not cool like you to get
that each other has seen. Not that we. Why would we talk about things?
I'm not cool like you, so I haven't gotten advance tickets to Black Adam.
It was happenistance, really.
You just lucked into them. It's not because of your awesomeness.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it was like it was like an event. It just kind of came out.
You lucked into them.
Yeah.
So anyway, I paid actual money to see Hollywood to see Halloween Ends. See, I'm trying to expunge this title from my brain.
You need an exorcism.
I paid real money to see Halloween Ends, and I could have watched it streaming on Paramount, right? Paramount Plus. You, faithful viewer, can go watch it right now. I warn you not to, because it wasn't great, but I know a lot of you will see it anyway, just because you're like me. You want to see it because... These legendary franchises like this, you just tend to kind of want to watch them all if you're like weirdos like us.
Support the horror, community.
Sure we do. But anyway, they focus so much on this guy. So he starts off sort of sympathetic. He's accused or it appears that he's murdered somebody, but then he gets off, so the whole town is against him, kind of like the town was against Michael Myers, or the town was against Laurie Strode or whatever. And then as the film progresses, it turns out he's a dark character, and he sort of evolves into this really dark character, and they want you to kind of see him as sort of Michael Myers type, like someone descending into madness, descending into evil. And I just don't care enough about this person. Now, the actor, I don't know the name off the top of his head. I'm trying to expunge this whole movie out of my brain, but for the sake of this review, I'll remember a little bit. The actor actually did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
He did a very good job, considering he carried this big mainstream release, this new character to the franchise. This somebody you're going in and you have no idea who this guy is at first, but he carries the picture for better or for worse, and he did a solid job. But I just didn't care enough about him to make the movie overall worthwhile. It was disappointing. Jamie Lee Curtis did a good job, and kudos to her for aging naturally.
She's beautiful.
Yeah,
She's awesome.
I like that.
Badass.
She hasn't carved up her face to look like bozo lips and stuff. I really, the people that overdo it with plastic surgery, especially when they're in their 30s and 40s, it's just depressing to me. Anyway, I don't want to shame anyone.
You went.
Yeah, I'm going way off a field here.
Come
But
back
so
to
props
Hollywood.
to Jamie Lee Curtis for doing a good job in this film. She's the face of the franchise these days, in addition to the William Shatner mask on Michael Myers.
I wonder if William
But
Shatner gets any royalties for his likeness.
now I've heard he's got plenty of money, and he's kind of a jerk.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've heard people say that let's get a little bit of, see, we didn't want the outside ambient noises, but hey, we'll power through it. It's getting a little
I'm
warm.
wearing a sweater.
Okay, so I've heard people say this movie is boring. Close the door and just open it just a little
Sorry.
bit. Yeah, that's okay. I've heard people say this movie is boring. I honestly didn't think it was boring. The time went by fairly quickly. There's some interesting kills. There's some interesting action scenes. The pace isn't terrible. It's kind of more of a character piece than a traditional, like in Halloween 2, where he just goes around killing everybody.
Yeah.
That was just sort of a mindless movie. Not great. I love the original atmospheric Halloween. I love the science fiction Halloween 3.
Yeah.
So out of left field. This film was a little bit out of left field as well, because it's not a traditional slasher film or any kind of serial killer film. It's not in that vein. It's very different, especially for the franchise. They went in a completely different direction, and I will let you guys decide. Go watch it on streaming on Paramount, and if you really want to support the franchise, go pay for it. Go see it in the theater. But I've warned you, it's not great. And you were going to see this film, and based on my mini review here,
I've been doing. Me and my husband have been doing a long, a dedicated rewatch of the entire Halloween franchise, basically from the original to the Rob Zombie.
Are you caught up?
Almost. We just watched H2O,
Oh,
so
okay,
we only
cool.
have a few more left.
So that's probably the reason why you haven't seen the new one yet, just because you're usually right on top.
I'm usually right on top, but
Yeah.
we wanted to because it's Halloween ends, we really wanted to come at it from a more fresh perspective and be able to catch things and be more critical, I guess.
It does
in a way.
refer back to the franchise periodically.
Yeah.
You'll get some fan service, especially with the ending.
Yeah.
The last 10 minutes really amp things up quite a bit. A lot of people say that the only part they like. Now, guys, the very beginning segment of the film is super intense, and I was like, wow, if the whole movie's like this, it's going to be something. But then it kind of devolves into this character study of a character I just didn't care a whole lot about. Yeah. Although I did not get bored. A lot of people said they did get bored.
I feel like they've done the thing where it's the next Michael Myers thing, but I feel like I don't know. What you are describing doesn't sound as interesting as, say, the whole Thorn,
right.
the cult of Thorn.
Or going to the dentist.
Right.
Yeah.
It depends.
My
what
son was
rather
with me.
do.
My 26-year-old son was with me. He did not care for the film. I think I liked it more than he did. I say I liked it, but I tolerated it more than he did. At least I was entertained by it. I don't think he was.
I think Mortal Kombat, the live action, obviously the newer live action film, tried to do a similar thing where they introduced this character But it was more in the sense of like,
and they focused on that character mostly.
I'm the everyman being in the world of Mortal Kombat, and it just.
Well, the guy in
they focused
Halloween,
on him, and it's like we want to look at, we want to.
You want to see the characters,
we want to see
right?
Liu Kang. We want to see.
The people
Sonya,
from the video game, right?
The whole roster of characters that we're familiar with, not
right.
Cole.
Well, so many people in the Halloween franchise have died off. They kind of run out of characters.
Oh.
So
Well,
let's get to Black Adam.
Okay.
So going into Black
Shazam!
Adam,
No,
yeah.
I'm not that cool. Okay.
Going into Black Adam, did you know much about the character?
No, actually. I think that people who read the comics and are dedicated followers of the comics are going to have a lot more of a critical opinion about the film. They may either really like it. It's a lot 50-50. It can be very divisive. But if you don't, even then, I think it's a fun film.
So if you go into it blind, if you have no idea about the character,
you might have a bit of. I mean, it depends on the audience you're watching it with too, and like the situation. But I think you could have a good time with it. The beginning of the film, it kind of has a narration sort of vibe. It's like a long time ago. Da, 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 da.
Is it an origin story, sort of?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean, yes, there is his. They do go into his origin, absolutely, but it's not hyper focused on his origin.
Right, where you're going through 30 or 40 minutes, like, come on, get on with it.
There's like flashbacks and stuff like
cool.
that, and you get to kind of unravel the tale of who he is, who he really is, and his intentions, and whatnot. So it's a deep dive into his character for sure, but it's not. It doesn't. It's more focused on, they look to him as their champion to save their village, their town, and or their city. Sorry, I'm using so many nouns.
It's all good.
After work brain, but they look to him to save and help them out, to save them from a corrupt group called Intergang.
Okay.
And but.
So is he a bad guy who's kind of better than the other bad guys, or is he a good guy? Because he's a villain in the comics.
He's a villain.
Yeah.
Yes, and he is a bad guy, but he has gotten his retribution, if you will.
Okay.
He's gotten this chance to turn it around.
We believe in second chances, right?
Yeah, he becomes an anti-hero. Like, he does kill people.
Yeah.
There are some violent deaths in this movie.
Well, hey, these days good guys kill people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that's a big thing between Black Adam and Hawkman. Hawkman? Yes. And they are like... Hawkman?
From DC Comics?
Yes.
We're in the DC universe.
Yes,
Hawkman is in the...
Yes. So...
Oh, wow.
I know, spoilers. But he's in it, and the killing people is something that really, at the beginning, drives a wedge between them. Like, Hawkman does not want to kill people. Black Adam's like... Meh, I'm gonna kill people.
Right.
So
I had no idea Hawkman was in the movie.
Yes.
I don't know if I hadn't been paying attention.
We also have Atom Smasher and Cyclone. But here's my review: is that it focuses so well on everybody else. Like Isis, played by the actress. I know her more from The L Word, where she plays Carmen. Amazing, love her. We all love Carmen.
Do we?
We do.
When I hear Isis, I think of the old 70s live action show. Are you familiar with that? Oh, Mighty Ice. Just
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, before your time.
Her character is super cool. I love her, and I love her son. Was so adorable. Amon, super cute. Her brother Amir, hilarious. He was a great comedic relief, and I liked his character. He was super fun. It's not just comedic relief. There's so much more to him. So
speaking of that, is The Rock funny in it?
The Rock has his funny moments. There are moments where the film there was too much slow-mo. It felt like 300 sometimes.
No,
I
can't stand that when they do use too much.
It made sense with Cyclone because she's so fast, but they use it a lot, and there was a lot of glamour shots, which I think that's the thing with DC. They love to do the glam shots. Where it's like, with everything. Like, I lift a building.
Right. Or Wonder Woman sliding and looking all hot.
I find it funny.
Right.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. But other people would probably be like, ugh.
Well,
But
you and I can tend to enjoy aspects of films that
that are
aren't
a bit of-
necessarily great.
we enjoy things that are slightly absurd.
Right.
So I enjoy things that are slightly melodramatic and absurd.
And if we see a trope, we can sort of appreciate it for what it
we
is.
go, ha ha.
Right.
So, but I do feel like Atom Smasher and Cyclone were underutilized. I felt like you could take them out of the film,
Right.
and it would be the same film. But it sucks because I think both actors did a great job in their roles. I just feel like I just really hope that this is just an introduction and that they do come back and that they're able to utilize more of them.
So was Shazam or AK Captain Marvel in it? Shazam,
the character. The character.
Yeah, you saw the Shazam movie, right?
Yes, I did. You mean the guy in the
red costume?
No.
You didn't see
sorry.
that movie?
I did.
Wow.
But the wizard is also named Shazam.
Right.
So that's why I was confused.
Okay, I gotcha. So you didn't see the Shazam movie?
I saw the Shazam movie.
You did see it?
I did. So I was just clarifying if you meant him or if you meant...
Right.
They also say the words Shazam to
like
turn into their thing. So I was like, wait.
Is the character Shazam from the Shazam movie in it?
No.
Okay, well that's interesting because
There is another person in it, but I won't tell you who it is.
Okay.
Because it's a surprise.
Spoiler alert.
You will freak out.
Alert because we're not going to spoil.
I will not tell you, but you have. I think Black Adam is worth seeing because one, it's fun. I had some laughs, and the surprise ending was super fun, and everyone was cheering. And I loved Pierce Brosnan. He was fabulous as Fate, Dr. Fate. I think it's Dr. Fate. If I say anything wrong,
Dr. Fate in the yellow helmet.
Yes,
Dr.
the golden
Fate.
helmet.
Yeah.
Yes, he was in it, and he was one of my favorites as well. Played wonderfully by Pierce Brosnan.
See, I didn't even know Pierce Brosnan or Dr. Fate were in the film. I haven't
the more you know. The more
I haven't
you
really
know.
researched this movie, which is kind of a fun way to go see a movie if you don't really.
I went
the
to it
trailers
blind,
these
and I was
days.
Like, cool.
If you want the trailers in movies these days, like if you go to a movie and you're sitting there watching 20 minutes of trailers, sometimes more. Well, these trailers are so long; they show you every plot point of the film. So sometimes it's better just to avoid all of that and just see a film cold.
Yeah, sometimes I don't mind like maybe just a teaser,
right?
And that's it.
So
but
how were the action scenes in this film? Like was it just super obvious CGI or was it?
There was CGI.
Obviously, there's gonna be CGI, but was it good? Well done.
It wasn't bad.
Okay.
It wasn't bad.
Solid.
It was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I think in the action scenes they do very much rely on slow motion.
Too much, you said.
A lot.
Right.
A lot of the film.
Yeah.
Like I was like, it was getting to the point where I was like,
Yeah, that can be a crutch. Slow-mo can be used very effectively, minimally, just for impact. But man, when they rely on it as a crutch,
it was like every single action fight scene, there was at least 2 or 3 slow-mos. It felt like, at least that's what it felt like.
Right.
And there was some really big dramatic, like if you like things like Sam Raimi or ridiculous, kind of ridiculous absurd horror movies like what Peter Jackson has done with Dead Alive, you'll enjoy some of the kind of over-the-top violent stuff. Oh, and there's kind of a slight, I think it's more of a reference to Harryhausen. There's some really cool, skeleton zombies.
Do you think? I bet they didn't use CGI. I bet they didn't use stop motion. They probably used CGI. But at least it had that vibe of Harryhausen.
It had a Harryhausen vibe, which I appreciated. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, you fangirled out.
I fangirled out. I was like, this director definitely appreciates Harryhausen, Sam Raimi.
Kind of like Army of Darkness when they had the skeletons.
Yeah. And then there's a death scene that everyone was like, whoa, and I was like, yeah. So
cool.
There are some really fun fight scenes. It's a blast, honestly.
And it sounds like you saw it with a fun crowd.
I did. Everyone in the crowd was like,
well, that's the thing about seeing a movie like a pre-screening or sometimes, or like a movie on opening night. A lot of times you have a fun crowd that's super into it and cheering at the right times and not talking over scenes, but interacting in the way that's fun.
Yeah, they were very interactive and in a fun way. It wasn't distracting from the movie. There was a kid behind me that was like, what's happening?
Oh no, the worst.
And I was, to myself, I was like, well, context clues.
Shut up and watch.
The parent they handled it very well. They were just like,
right,
but
okay.
you know, I can understand that there's probably some things where the kids will be like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
You know, but
and just because it's a superhero movie doesn't mean a kid is going to love it. I mean, come on, you know.
No, I mean,
this is 2022.
But
was it family appropriate to a degree?
Yeah.
PG-13, I guess.
It is violent.
Yeah. Okay.
They're, you know, so if you're not one to show your kid violent movies, probably not for you. But there's really no overt sex scenes. There's really no romance story.
Well, I'm out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to burst your bubble there. It's not Deadpool.
All right.
You know, it's not rated R for most part. But it is very violent.
Was it better than the Green Lantern movie? Now that's not a high bar,
yes.
but it was better than Green Lantern. Was it as good as the original Wonder Woman? Probably not.
It's better than the Green Lantern for sure.
Right.
You know, it's if you enjoy things that are, I'm not going to compare it to The Mummy because that's just classic.
Brendan Fraser.
Right. Yeah, but if you enjoy things that have that sort of level, like it's not Suicide Squad.
So it's an action movie with some humor.
Yeah,
and
like
it's a fun movie.
Exactly. So if you like things like The Mummy, you know, something playful,
right?
You know, but I think you would enjoy it.
It sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect because I kind of hold my guard up sometimes because we are in a really interesting era of superhero movies. We are, you know, we've had the early era, you know, we had Sky High and like the Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's, and then we got into another, the era of like Green Lantern and like the Incredible Hulk, and like we were trying to figure it out. And then we also had Christian Bale, DC, you know, like the golden era of DC.
We're definitely living in great times for superhero movies.
Golden era of Marvel.
Just so much.
There's a lot happening. And now we're in kind of this deconstruction era. We're also looking into superheroes that haven't had as much adaptation.
Right.
People are being introduced to new heroes all the time. It's exciting.
It's really interesting. So growing up, there was really no such thing as being a superhero fan that didn't read comics.
Right, exactly.
If you were a superhero fan, you read comics. Nowadays, I would say probably most superhero fans have never read a comic book in their entire life.
No, they know it from the film or their TV show or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, the films push people to go get the comics.
Let's hope that's
true. And then they become both.
Yeah. I'm sure it happens some. Not as much as we'd probably like, but I'm sure it happens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, there's, you know, there's been, you know, superheroes that I was like, wait, nobody told me about this one. I'm just figuring this out. And, like, it prompted me to be like, I want to know more.
That's
I want to know more about,
Is there one in particular that you discovered on movie or TV that you hadn't really had much experience on the comics with?
You know, when I discovered, like, Scarlet Witch in you know, the Avengers and stuff, I was like, who this?
Yeah, she's cool.
She's cool. You know, let's see. I just had one.
You mentioned Wanda. WandaVision.
Yeah, I love WandaVision.
Oh my gosh, WandaVision's my favorite. WandaVision. I like WandaVision.
It's my favorite.
So WandaVision is my favorite of all the Marvel TV shows.
It's so good. It's unique, and I love that it takes a completely different tone.
Let me ask you this.
Except for the final episode.
Did you like the first 3 episodes that were sitcom-y?
Yes.
Or the later ones better? I like the first 3, the sitcom-y ones better. Those are just so fun. I like the first 3 because there's a lot of mystery there, and also it kind of the tone of like the usual. It had such
Marvel
a Twilight
movie.
Zone feel to it.
It did.
Mixed with classic sitcoms. It was so.
Whereas the last few episodes felt very Marvel.
Yeah, it was very Marvel-y. And they were good, but it's interesting. A lot of people, superhero fans I know, they did not like the first 3. No. And when the 4th one came out, they were like, finally something is happening. And I'm thinking, are you kidding? I can understand
that familiarity, that desire for that, but
I get it. I just don't agree.
I think that for the long haul of Marvel, for Marvel and DC, you know, to have that longevity, they have to experiment. They have to try new tones.
Yeah.
They have to.
And I think that's what they've exactly done with She-Hulk. I've seen a lot of hate for She-Hulk, but my wife and I have been watching it and just enjoying the heck out of it. It's fun. It's quirky. It breaks the fourth wall,
Yeah.
and it's just a blast.
I think experimenting with tone, experimenting with cinematography, discovering new characters that haven't had a lot of screen time. You know, I think that's gonna make Marvel and DC, thrive.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why
broaden your demographic.
That's why I liked Multiverse of Madness, because it touched into like the horror genre, and I loved Werewolf by Night because again that touched into the horror genre.
So with Multiverse of Madness, how cool was it when they showed Daredevil?
Hell yeah!
I mean, Daredevil
is my boy.
I totally fanned out. I cheered in the middle of the movie. Right. All right, guys. We're getting close to 30 minutes, so I should probably let this poor young woman go.
Yeah.
So, but this has been a lot of fun. So, would you be open to doing something like this again?
Oh, absolutely.
This is a lot of fun.
This is a lot of fun. I haven't done this in a long time.
She was on YouTube pretty frequently a few years ago. And we've actually collaborated on some projects. We met a little over 6 years ago at Retropalooza when she interviewed me about my books.
That's actually rude. I should flip it around.
Oh, you're cool. All good. And we've collaborated. She's written some stories for my books. I've written about her interest in horror for the Fort Worth Star Telegram and for some magazines. We've collaborated on several things, and now we work together. Guys, let me know in the comments if you would like to see Cierra on my channel again. I know you're going to say yes, because you don't want to just look at this guy all the time.
Plus, I mean, I'm an old green, and
indeed,
look at the ghosts.
Right, ghost with the most.
You can't see it, but it's there.
But yeah, she's got all kinds of cool, wacky outfits she can wear. We can talk comics, we can talk movies, we can talk video games, we can talk all nerd things, pop culture. It's going to be awesome, guys. We're going to have a great time. Comment also if you've seen, if you're lucky,
Halloween Ends or Black Adam.
If you're unlucky like me and have seen Hollywood.
Sunset Boulevard sequel.
Right. If you've seen Halloween Ends, let me know in the comments. If you've seen Black Adam, you're one of the few, the proud, let me know in the comments. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Cierra. She's awesome. Good friend of mine. Thank you so much for being on.
Yes, you're welcome.
You are
Thank you.
Wonder Twin Powers activate.
Yeah. If you were wearing green, that would have been way funnier.
That would have been a lot better. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And again, let me know if you want to see C-Cab on my channel again. I'm sure you do. We will talk to you guys in another video. We're signing off.
Bye.
Bye. Later on.
Laters.
It's me, Mario!